on high air pressure weather systems. And I'm actually going to look at these two exam questions that you can see in front of you. And you'll find this question in the past papers to go with this particular topic. So let's have a little look at what we're looking at. We can see it's high pressure because it's actually indicated as high pressure on this map. We can see Manchester's placed not quite near the center, but reasonably near the center. And even if it didn't say high pressure right here in the middle, we can see that it's 1020, which we should know is a high pressure level because it's well above 1000. So what's the weather in Manchester? But before we get to looking at the weather in Manchester, based on our knowledge of synoptic weather symbols, let's have a little look at this question. Describe similarities and differences in weather conditions caused by anticyclones in summer and winter. 6 marks. So what we need to do is we need to know what weather you would get with high pressure. We have to think about all different aspects of the weather. So the first thing we have to think about here is the wind. We need to think about its direction, its speed. We need to think about cloud cover. We need to think about temperature. And we need to think about whether there will be rainfall or not. We then need to compare that for summer and winter, identifying any differences. So what would be the similarities? Well, in high pressure, the air is sinking because it's cold, therefore no clouds form. And that would be the same in summer and winter. So there's very unlikely to be any clouds in Manchester or anywhere near the center of this area of high pressure. Second thing I would say is another similarity is because there are no weather fronts visible, you're also not going to get any clouds, nor will you get any rain. And that's another point worth making. If you can talk about there being clear skies, then you're also going to talk about the lack of rain, which is a second thing that you want to mention. Third thing you're going to want to say that's similar is the wind direction. The wind direction would be the same regardless of the time of year. It would be traveling in a clockwise direction because this is an area of high pressure. So it would be circulating in the way that I'm showing following the isobars. Okay. Fourth direction, because the isobars are very far apart and because Manchester's quite near the center, there would be very low winds. High pressure brings very low winds, or in some cases, no winds at all. Okay. Here, the few differences between summer and winter. In summer, temperatures during the day would be very hot because there's no cloud cover, and therefore you get very high temperatures in high pressure. However, temperatures would drop in the evening in summertime because of the lack of clouds, meaning that the heat would all escape. In winter, you would get very, very cold temperatures because there are no clouds to trap the heat. So the temperatures are going to be extremely cold, and at night they're going to be even colder. So that's one big difference between summer and winter. It's the temperature. The second would be the conditions on the ground. In summertime, because the air is sinking, the air moisture is coming down, and therefore in the morning you'd get a dew forming on the ground and the grass. In winter, the difference is because of the very cold temperatures in the morning, instead of it being a dew, it would be a frost because the water would crystallize. Okay, so there's the differences and the similarities between summer and winter with high pressure. Let's have a little look at the second question, because using a lot of the knowledge I've just taught you in the first, you should be able to tackle the second question. What's it going to be like for Manchester in July? Let's pay attention to the month of the year they're giving us, because that's part of our answer. So in July, it's going to be very hot because it's an area of high pressure, and therefore there's no clouds to block out the sun. You could also add at this point that it would, however, be much colder at night because there are no clouds to trap the heat, so the heat would all escape. You would also say in Manchester, it's also going to be very hot because it is July and you'd expect high temperatures. You would say the winds are very light in Manchester because the isobars are very far apart. You could also say that the winds are coming from the southwest because they're traveling in a clockwise direction because it's an area of high pressure. You would say that there would be clear skies because it's high pressure and the air is therefore cold and is sinking and clouds can't form. You'd also say because of this, it's likely to be very dry as it's very unlikely to be any rain, especially as the weather map shows that there are no weather fronts present. Okay, so that's all of the likely weather conditions. You could say that in July you might get some dew forming on the ground in the morning as the air cooler air settles on the ground and the air moisture builds up on the grass. Okay, that's how to answer those two questions.